friends, and welcome back to A Moment with Hales and my coffee and conspiracy episodes. I'm so excited to be getting started for 2025. I figured for the first episode here, I'm going to share some books that I read last year that if you like conspiracy or my coffee and conspiracy topics, you might be interested in reading too. The first book I recommend is called Chaos. I actually don't have it with me because a friend is reading it and she's loving it. It's called Chaos and it was written by Tom O'Neill. It has to do with the Charles Manson murders, the CIA, and the secret history of the 60s. Fascinating book. If you're someone who always feels like there's more to the story than we're being told about certain events going on in the news or things that are broadcasted everywhere, then it's a book that you're probably going to love. It also has to do with a little bit of MK Ultra. Just a really fascinating book that the author goes through and kind of dedicated his life almost to figuring out answers to certain questions. So definitely Chaos. It's a page turner. You will not be able to put it down. It's one that I highly recommend and one that I actually heard about through the Candace Owens podcast. A+, great book. The second book I'm going to recommend also is recommended by the Candace Owens podcast, Hollywood Babylon. This book goes into the origins of Hollywood, and honestly, it made me kind of sad. I was already looking at the entertainment industry very differently, but on top of already everything else we know that's going on in the entertainment industry, this made it equally as sad and definitely is an interesting read because you realize there's just so much scandal and so much going on that we just don't know behind the scenes. So definitely one that you would read if you're interested in the entertainment industry. And the next book I'm going to recommend is called The Deep State Encyclopedia. It's written by Really Graceful. I actually follow her. If you don't, you should check her out. Her videos are so well done. Really, really great content. And this actually is exactly what it says, a Deep State Encyclopedia exposing the cabal's playbook. So there's various topics that she goes through and just gives you kind of an encyclopedia version outline of certain topics and gives you all different things you can actually go through and read and just kind of keep as a resource for when you're hearing about things and you want to know more. And she gives you kind of a launch pad into the ideas of these different topics. So I obviously loved it. I have it marked for certain coffee and conspiracy podcast episodes and then also for a wine club that I host, different topics that I would like to talk about and also stuff I'd like to research more different topics as well. So the Deep State Encyclopedia, Really Graceful. Check out her stuff. She has really amazing content. The last one is one I'm most excited about. I've been wanting to read this for a really long time. It's called Behold the Pale Horse by William Cooper. William Cooper served in the Navy and he had a lot of really interesting things to say. And I'm just gonna be honest, if I would have read this pre-pandemic, I probably would have not rolled my eyes, but I probably would have been like, that's a little out there, you know? But since I lived through the pandemic and I saw a lot of how the government responded during the pandemic, this almost was eerie in a way when I was reading it. Some of the stuff I read, I had to reread twice because I was like, did he just say that? Because I swear I saw that happen. And he goes into secret societies. He talks about the New World Order. You have everything in here from FEMA to aliens. And it was definitely a very, very interesting read and gave me a lot to think about and kind of look for, you know, as we approach 2025 and what's going to be going on. One thing he talked about, which I thought was the most interesting, were two things. One, he talks about mental health and how that's going to become a big trend and how that's going to be used against the American people. And two, he talked about basically warfare of the mind and how the government was working basically to figure out how to wage a quiet war in the sense that we don't even realize we're at war. War is not necessarily gonna have bombs and all of that stuff, but there's going to be war of the mind itself. So I think he called it mind fair or mind warfare or something. So definitely interesting topics in this book here. So out of all of them, I'd probably recommend this one if you're more of a conspiracy buff because this was kind of shocking to me. He wrote it in 1991 and it definitely has aged very well. So this is a good one too. So friends, I'm getting really excited to start my little series. What I decided is I'm going to be doing one episode a month so I can try to do some really good research for you guys and bring you some interesting content. Again, we'll just scratch the surface on our coffee and conspiracy and you guys can do your own research and decide your own thoughts at the end. So thanks for listening, friends, and I'll be talking to you soon. Cheers.